Hey guys, it's your girl Trishy Marie, and this message is for my ladies out there. Your girl Molly Hopkins, the owner of LIVI Ray Lingerie, hooked us up with a special promo code, 10% off on your order at www.liviraylingerie.com. You want to get an exclusive bra that's going to lift those ladies up? Make sure you type in Trishy at the checkout where you enter the promo code.
What is your break in the industry story? What would you say is that moment that really hit you like, wow? It's that moment where you feel accomplished.
My name is Molly Hopkins, and this is my break in the industry story.
Like, this is the moment. What goes through your head? What inspires you to create?
My family always thought that I would do something, not necessarily television, but very outgoing. I was always the person in every club. I always went for the underdog. I was always having friends over, and I remember one time having girlfriends over, and I was Annie Lennox, and they were the Eurythmics. Like, we would always put on shows, and I was in my youth choir group, and I always tried to make them do plays. So I think that maybe they thought, but not necessarily knew. I think it's awesome when you own your own business. For my youngest daughter, it was harder because I was still in school. I was learning this industry for the lingerie world. I was trying to figure out who I was and what I was doing. But now being my age, having had a grown child to help, and then just having my own business, like, I made a creative space in the back for kids to come, so that even my workers, if their kids are sick or they need a spot, I think it's very hard for women who have kids, especially if you're making it on your own. Like, you either have to do something that you could bring them with you, or you have to figure out a way to put them somewhere. And with these things going on out there today, you don't really want to put your kids in daycare, so it's hard. But it's worked. If you have a desire and a passion in your heart and in your gut, I think you should just go for it. I wouldn't say that being in reality television was always like a dream or passion. I never even really watched 90 Day Fiance or any of some of these shows that are out now. I always watched the designer shows and the super fun creative shows, but I never really thought that this would fall into our lap. But having have someone who knew a casting director and said, I think you'd be perfect for this, when we had our first show, Double Divas, and then having actually a romantic situation with Louise for 2 years prior. I didn't know anything about 90 Day Fiance. It just kind of was a thing where my business partner was like, girl, this is y'all's story, you know. And because of the dynamics of our age difference and everything going on, I was chosen for the casting. It's not easy. When you are auditioning for a reality show, there's typically a casting button on their website, or there's a commercial that comes on that says, hey, are you this person? Or do you have love overseas? Are you trying to get them here? My business partner actually casted me for 90 Day Fiance. She was binge watching the show, as a lot of people do, not only in America, but internationally. I mean, it's like the #1 show in its time slot on Sunday night. And she said, Molly, don't kill me. And I'm like, what did you do? And she's like, I casted you and Louise for 90 Day because you guys are the perfect couple for the show. It's your story. What they're going through is just like what you're doing. You guys are getting married. You're trying to get him here. So I think that you would be a perfect fit for this show. And clearly, the production company and the network thought that as well. So that's how it happened. I think for me, I knew there was that factor of social media presence that tries to annihilate you. But because I know my heart and I know who I am as a person, I knew there would be just as many people who are like, you're a badass, girl power, like, go for it, girl. Men do it all the time. Men have younger women all the time. So I didn't think anything about the fact that I'm whatever they coin, a cougar or whatever, finding love in a young man. Like, I honestly was worried, but I'm pretty strong in my constitution. And 9 times out of 10, anytime anybody came at me with a negative vibe, I just counteracted with, like, what's going on with you? Something happened, you know.
I love that.
So
I love that.
Their mom, I'm like, did your mom marry some man that you hated and he was young? Like, what happened? Let's talk about it, sister, because we are in no position to sabotage each other. Like, we gotta build each other up. So I try to be positive in everything I do. And I operate a business that is a judgment-free space. So by doing so, I can't allow and stay strong if I let other people's words come into my, you know, atmosphere or treat me that way. So I just really kind of brushed it off as to, You need some love, you need some pizza, you need something. Because who does that?
Right.
Well, I think for me, you know, we were just talking about makeup. Like, I want to look beautiful, but I have to feel that no matter the situation, if I come in here in a sack, I got to feel beautiful. Because not every day I'm going to have a hair and makeup team. I'm going to have someone doing all my laundry. I'm not going to have all these perks. In real life, unless you're flipping millionaires, you just don't have a hair and makeup team every day. You just don't. And that's not my forte. I got to come to work. At the end of the day, I gotta come in here and fit a bunch of bras and sell sexy on Valentine's. Like, you can't, I don't have time for that every day. So, and it's not that I want to project that, but I want to project the real of reality. I think that a lot of times we get this twisted perception of what we believe it to be or what we perceive it to be. Like, what did they deliver to us that's true and what's not true? For the most part, it is true, but the way they cut it could lend itself to seem like, wow, you're freaking nuts. You know what I mean? Like, that's where the, how dare you leave your child with a man you don't know, or you only knew this man 2 months?
Right.
No, I didn't, but from the time point in which this happened and that happened, it was 2 months, but we were together for 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's really about what we, as the viewer, believe. Do we believe everything we see? And guess what? We believe a lot of it. If you see it, it must be true. So I think that's the hardest part. I think after we actually had the minister, the person who was going to do our vows, come, and right after that, when we got our paper, and he just flipped the script. Like, he totally was like, not the same person that I met. He didn't want to do anything. He turned into this paper prince. Like, it was just like,
So that was kind of
Jekyll and Hyde for real.
accurate the way TV displayed it in a sense. 'cause it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
almost-
It was night and day. I was like, wow, who is this man and where did he come from? I made the choice. We made the choice. And if he can be a good person here and do right by what we're supposed to do, because I work every day, we pay our taxes, we do what we have to do, and it can benefit his family, which I know it can, then by all means. And that's just who I am. I can't live with feeling hate in my heart towards anybody. And I'm just that person. Like, I was raised to be like, you know what, we're going to pray for you, we're going to make it right, because I don't want to carry that around. I don't want to carry it because I'm not the judge and the jury, and I don't want to have to be that person. Do I think he had intentions all along? Absolutely. But I can't say that for sure. I know what I felt, and I know how I feel, but I wish him the best. That's all I can do. I just feel like you just can't go around being like, they don't get what I deserve.
Being bitter the whole time.
People are going to get what they deserve. You know what? Maybe I did something that I get what I deserve. You know, but you can't just walk around with that mentality, because your next blessing or your next best thing may not show up because you're just sitting over here missing it. We don't speak. He's remarried. He got remarried. And the day that our divorce was final, he asked me for a copy of the paperwork because he said, I'm going to be getting married. And that's what made me be like, wow, did you know someone here already? Because there's not been enough time. Unless that's just how you do, you know.
Right.
We don't speak. I don't have anything to talk to him about. The only thing I had concerns about is when you marry someone and they're on a K-1 visa, technically you're responsible for them for 10 years. But what that means is, if they don't work, if they're fall on hard times and they stay here and they seek government assistance, the United States government will come after me because I signed a financial affidavit stating that I would be responsible for him financially. So they would come to me to get their money back. Now, he never went to get his green card. We worked on the adjustment of status. We had the biometrics thing done where they take their blood and check for any type of disease and all that stuff. That all occurred, but we never met with the consulate for him to get his green card. So at this point,
You're a safe girl.
I'm still like, I don't know what's going on, but I put my call in, did my due diligence, so whatever happens now is on whatever. I love the country. I love the culture. And as a matter of fact, I think that the way they cut the show was that I couldn't stand his music. I couldn't stand his... I fell in love with him because of the culture. I fell in love with the Jesus mural in his house, and that I went into, you know, Santo Domingo, and I took pizza to these children, and it was like Christmas morning. And for me, I'm emotional about it. That's the part that I would do over and over again, no matter what. Because when you grow up poor, because I didn't grow up with the silver spoon. I grew up fighting over food, you know. And like, when you have the opportunity to bless someone with something, because we take for granted that we can just order pizza any moment of the day. It sounds crazy, but when I walked in with this box of pizza, these kids lit up, like straight up lit up. I went with samples of toothpaste from next door and toothbrushes in little baggies. They lit up. And that, to me, was my whole mission. If I never did anything else and I did that one thing, it made me feel like I was doing something good. And to be able to have him sent money a few times for his family, I would do it all over again. Clearly, the opportunity to earn a living from where he was is not the same. I saw that. And that is why I was so passionate. But not only that, when I got off the plane, 3-hour flight, and saw the most beautiful water I've ever seen in my life, I cried. I was like, there's beaches that really look like they look in the magazine. You could drive 6 hours to Panama City and it'd be crusty and nasty and jank and not stay, and then go there and rent an Airbnb and walk out on the beach and pay $60 for the whole week and eat. I was like, oh my God, if I lived here, I'd be skinny and tan and beautiful, and I would just go and get my peace. I found peace there. Even in the midst of hell, I was at peace.
So that's a good thing, because you think of everything that happened between you and Louise, it's almost a blessing in disguise, because from the story you're saying now, you kind of got a lot out of the relationship.
I did, and I would do it again, and I plan on going back. It's like you're having fun, and even though I think he was thinking maybe he was getting like this vacation girl, when he got here, it's serious time. I'm still gonna have fun, but like, I just walked out the street on the corner. It was fine. I kept hearing the slogan, "Free America," and I'm like, what do you mean? What's free?
Right.
There's nothing free. But I also have a penchant in my heart for people of different areas, different cultures, different language, different food. I mean, I feel like when you're a white American and you're Caucasian and you don't understand people, we've been bred a certain way, or we've had this system of beliefs that's really a crock of shit. It's a crock of shit. And that's the way I feel. And I feel like being able to have done this show, I was able to put that belief system out there. I have biracial children. Like, it wasn't because I just chose this path. It's just, this is what happened for me in my life, and I feel like I'm able to project that in a time right now where our government's trying to separate us, things are happening, people might automatically assume. I mean, it's crazy to me that how many people thought that the Dominican Republic is by Mexico, or it's over here, and I'm like, this is the crock of crap that we've been raised to believe.
I mean, yeah.
You know, like, you're missing out on some really great people when you have this thing. I'm all about blending it up, because I want to eat, I want to dance, I want to feel, I want to do this. Like, I want to do it all. You know?
Absolutely.
It's just what we have to do. And I think when we take those things out and we don't have to say, oh, you're a Latino woman, or you're a black man, or you're a this person, or you're a... When you can just look at people like they're just humans. We're just human beings, and we're all here to be and live the best life we can while we're here together and grow, then it's going to be so much different. And if I can just play a small part, which is what I hope that a lot of people gathered from me from that show, is that I'm very wide open on culture and just try to be well versed in stuff, and so that I can maybe put that onto someone else. Well, it was Fernanda and Jonathan of the last season, but they're not together anymore.
I know.
So I don't know what happened, because I had the opportunity to meet them. I also had the opportunity to meet Ashley and Jake, and I was a little skeptical about them just because of the same dynamic of age difference, and he's from Jamaica and she's, you know, from the northern United States, but I also know the pitfalls of being in the public eye, and also sins of the flesh. I mean, we are in social media world so hard that anybody can come at you in your inbox, or anybody can maybe say something that might break that bond of what you just chose to do. And it's whether or not you have a strong sense of self and what you're doing, if you can keep that off of you. As far as still probably going to come back in another season, I love Russ and Pal. She's Latina, Colombian. She's a beautiful human being. She was kind of slighted as a really spicy, hateful, ugly Latina woman, but that's just the culture thing. Once again, she's very
But you know
strong.
what I like? I think you get to see a different outlook of the way she is on the next seasons and the following seasons that came. Cause,
she's a beautiful person, and they're in love, and he's so good to her. And when I
Yeah.
saw them, and I got to ride in the car with them, and I got to be around them, I'm like, damn, I wish I had this man. Like, this is the type of love that I want.
Right. I think
that he calls her my amor, like, all the time, and it is, and it's very apparent how much he loves her. And now they have a baby, and it's a beautiful thing, and I don't doubt for 1 second that they won't be together forever. Yeah. He planted something on his phone that I should never have seen, and he handed it to me and was like, what do you think about this? We had a camera set up to the side, and I flung it out. So he posted that and pitched it as if he was in an abusive relationship. And I will say this, and this is just my thoughts on it, but it doesn't mean it's true. One of the reasons that an immigrant can stay in the United States if they're not approved or whatever is if they can prove domestic violence. And I know that some of this stuff has happened. It's been back and forth with them. And the 3 reasons you can stay if you don't follow through with the marriage is if you're going back to extreme impoverished conditions, domestic violence, or if you can prove the marriage was fake. So some of these couples maybe go into it from a different mindset, but I know for me personally, I didn't. So if I say, oh, they just did this for the show, I honestly do not believe, not in a million years, that anybody would just subject themselves to that. It's not like you're making, like the Kardashians or some of these other super high shows. We're not getting $100,000 an episode, so that would not be the reason. You feel me? Just to be on TV? No way. So I don't know. I hope the best for them, but I don't have time for that. It makes me feel sick, kind of. Like, it's messy. It's extremely messy. I can't keep up. And if you don't want to do it, put your foot down and say, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to compromise my values, some of them, and some of the things that maybe they want you to do. Not in the stage, because it's not, but like, I think I would want to have creative control or be in a position where I can say, yes, we're going to do this, no, we're not, because you don't know what you're going to see. Let's say here. So while you may be over here having a bachelor party and he's over here having a bachelor party or bachelorette or whatever, or any show, just because it's filmed doesn't mean A, that it's going to be used, or B, that it's going to be cut and put in a situation. Even with this show for Double Divas that we had before, like Lauren is a sweetheart. She's now on tour with a huge cover band, and she even went on tour with Timberland for a while. They had her helping this older couple that was going on a cruise, and they wanted like something for every day of the week, lingerie. The way they cut the show was like as if she was like, ugh, you want lingerie? That is not the philosophy of our store, nor would it ever be acceptable here at all. So when millions of viewers see that, they believe that. So it could be very detrimental to your brand, your business, or your personal self-well-being. Like, you gotta have a strong constitution. Like I said, you gotta really love yourself and be okay with what's about to happen. I think I would like to talk about that to other people maybe thinking about doing it. If you feel like you can't handle it, don't do it, because people are gonna come at you all kinds of ways and say things that are just awful. You know, I'm an emotional eater. I think when you grow up in a family, huge family that farms, and my grandmother used to make comfort food, we ate whether we were mad, sad, or glad. So if you're a type of person that's an emotional eater and you're happy, but then maybe you're sad. I mean, I went through a really extreme depression, and I gained a ton of weight. Just because I didn't want to go to the gym, because you'd be like, why are you going to the gym? You don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, I've been working out for 20 years. Like, it's not, underneath this is a super fit chick. I'm very athletic. But you just start eating comfort food, and then you try to be accommodating, and you stop eating what you were eating to work with someone else. And I'm like, hello, people from the Dominican eat a lot of carbs.
Girl, are you telling? If I didn't eat rice and bread, I probably would be a little skinnier, you know?
But that's the whole thing. It's like, I mean, and not only that, you know, I lost a bunch, but then the holidays hit. And now I'm single again, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go with my kids and eat pizza, or I'm not gonna go to the gym. I'm busy, and I have gained some weight back, but headstrong person.
The weight, though.
It's just about everything.
It's the glow. I feel like
everything.
You just have this glow that just speaks like, I'm happy. Like,
you know why? See that you're happy. Because for the first time ever in my life, like I said to you earlier, it doesn't matter if I have on this or that, or I have to be able to do that, because what I do in this business, I have to pour that into women every single day. And if I can't pour it into myself, how in the hell am I going to pour it into you? And you have to feel it, and you can't think that what I'm telling you isn't because I believe it. It's not just because I'm trying to sell you a bra. I could care less about selling you a bra. I want you to feel good in it and know the reason behind why you're buying it, and then walk into a place and be like, I'm the ticket, you know? I'm the ticket, and that's it. Honestly, I've been full busted. Not necessarily full figured, but I've been full busted my entire life. And when you grow up and everybody loves you, so they nominate you for pageants, or they nominate you for this, and you gotta wear strapless gowns, or you want to go to the Dominican and you don't have a bathing suit because your boobs won't fit anything, you find a way to fix it. So I went to school for music, but then I really had a vision. My grandmother came to see me. God just really planted it in my heart that I was going to do this. And our slogan is, let us lift you up. And it's really more than the bra. So it just became a labor of love, and now it's just grown into this place where people come and they're not afraid. Because we always say, if it's remotely visible, it's not a secret. Like, no one really looks like what we've been brainwashed to believe and conditioned when it comes to undergarments and what you should or shouldn't look like if you're going to wear bras and panties, or be sexy for your man, or whatever the case may be. So in our eyes, everyone is beautiful, and we're going to work with you where you are today. We were on The View, and we were doing a makeover show on The View. And I was waiting in the green room, and I see Whoopi Goldberg walking by. And she comes in and she says, and she looks me dead in the eye, and she says, I think you are so funny. She's like, I love your show. I literally was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to breathe, cry. I don't know what I'm going to do. Whoopi Goldberg just said we're funny. Like, to me, that was huge. And I couldn't believe I answered it. This is how I know it's a God thing. We were in the midst of having phone call after phone call after phone call to the store. And at that time, I had like 3 times the employees. People answered the phone for us. And I answered the phone. And the lady said, this is Stevie Wonder's assistant. And I'm like, Stevie Wonder? She's like, yeah. I'm like, the Stevie Wonder? Like, very superstitious? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, she's like, I'm calling from KJLH Radio in LA. He's doing this huge help forum at the Staples Center, and we want you to come, and he wants you to come and talk to the women. She said he loves your show. He watches it. And then she laughed. She go, well, he listens to it. And we were just kind of having a laughing moment. I'm like, you're kidding. So I knew then that this man who's listening to us across this television show we've made an impact. She's like, girl, he's laughed, he's cried, he's everything. She's like, he loves you.
And you can't even see.
And I was like, well, I'll be damned. So when you're asked as a Caucasian woman to speak to about 10,000 black women in LA for Stevie Wonder, that makes you feel pretty good, because you know that they can see your heart and your penchant for people and how you love. And it was like, I cannot believe this. And then when we said we were doing fittings, no one had signed up previously. The fire marshal had to come and like move people out of the way because they were blocking the entrance, and it was a hazard, and it was just a big deal. And I felt like at that moment I was like Justin Bieber with teenage girls, like seriously, because people were running and they just wanted us to lay our hands on them and talk to them, because women have been struggling for so long with their boobs. And we're not educating women, so we don't know. And then what's your choice? I went across the street to do market research to a maternity store, and they had nothing for me. And what they had that was remotely close was so ugly. I'm like, this is sending women into postpartum depression. It's also telling women not to nurse their babies because they feel like they got these big, huge gallon jugs on their chest, and they don't want to do it because they feel sloppy and gross. But it's the very thing that we're supposed to do with them, so why can't we educate women on that again and make it be okay? But you would like it much better if your bra was beautiful and it fit well. My name is Molly Hopkins, and this is my Break in the Industry story.
Hey guys, it's your girl Trishy Marie, and this message is for my ladies out there. Your girl Molly Hopkins, the owner of LIVI Lingerie, hooked us up with a special promo code, 10% off on your order at www.liviraylingerie.com. You want to get an exclusive bra that's going to lift those ladies up? Make sure you type in Trishy at the checkout where you enter the promo code.